So we'll go to yesterday, a little bit of a controversial thing. I might be in the minority here, but Jacob Rawlings for the Colorado Rockies with 2 outs at the bottom of the ninth in a 0-0 ball game against the Seattle Mariners takes a high inside pitch and drives it deep to left field at Coors Field. And Dylan Moore goes back, jumps up to make a play. His glove makes contact with a fan's arm. The fan has the ball, and he's about 1.5 to 2 feet above the yellow line when he makes contact. Now, from our camera angle, you can't tell if he's reaching back, if he's level with the yellow line, the top of the wall, or not. But what happens is they have a non-home run call, so there's no home run.
So they play the live ball.
They play the live. It's a live play. Because probably initially it looked like it bounced off the top of the wall. The way it came back in.
It looked to me when I saw it live for the first time, it looked like it was in and out of Dylan Moore's glove.
I thought so too.
Like, that's what I thought. Okay. Like I thought it went in his glove and then came back out, which obviously would be a live ball.
Right. So either way, it's a live ball. They play it out. Stallings is on second base, and then it's an official review, right? Because they can officially review all home run calls, so it doesn't have to come from the dugout. They come back and they call Jacob Stallings out on fan interference. Now, I have a couple of things here, but first of all, I don't personally think it's fan interference. The ball was 2 feet above the yellow line. Could have Dylan Moore made a play on it? Possibly. We'll never know. But I think it's a clear-cut home run to me.
You know, I think the hard part with seeing it live, like hearing the description is one thing. And then when I saw it, I think what's hard is there are 1 or 2 angles, particularly when they slow it down in slow-mo, where it looks like the guy potentially probably maybe did kind of cross that threshold from over the yellow line into the field of play. I think what's hard is I don't think there was conclusive evidence either way. But the way that the way I understand the rule for fan interference is once you call the review for fan interference, it's either a home run or it's an out.
Yep.
Like they can't come back and be like, well, we didn't have enough, so we're going to leave him at second base.
Right.
So they had to make a decision on that. And I think they ruled that it was more likely than not, you know, the deflate gate. It was more likely than not that he was leaning over and he interfered. I don't love it. I don't love the call, but I understand why they made it.
So then here's my backup to that. With the ability to measure launch angle, exit velocity, and all of that, they can get down to the inch of how far a ball can travel. So New York should take that information and be like, if this ball was going to leave the ballpark, then it's a home run.
But doesn't it become a gray area though when you look at the replay and the fielder's glove interacted? I don't want to use the word interfered, but when the fielder's glove interacted with the fan, like if you were to like pause it and then remove the fan completely out and then resume the play, like did the fielder have an opportunity, regardless of how far the ball was going to go, did he have an opportunity to catch it?
Yes.
If the answer for that is yes, then I think you got to call interference.
So if you watch the replay, and I've got it paused right now, right at the point of contact, the outfielder's glove is underneath that ball. He is going to catch it, unless that ball is like 4 or 5 feet further back than it looks. But if you look at it, when he goes up, he actually makes contact with the guy trying to catch it as the ball falls out of his glove. I mean, it's the player has to be able to make a play. Whether it's going to be a home run or not is irrelevant. If the player has a play on the ball, although it's going to leave the field of play, until it actually leaves the field of play, it's his ball. So when you look, he's going up. The fan makes contact with the ball right above his glove. So the belief is when you look at the angle of the replay, he's at a minimum, he's going to make contact with that ball. He's likely going to catch it, but he's at least going to make contact with it. So it's still his ball.
But is Dylan Moore's glove over the fence?
It doesn't matter.
It does matter.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't matter. It matters where the fan is.
If I'm 2 rows back and Dylan Moore can reach over the fence 2 rows back and try to make a play on the ball, but the fan catches it, that's fan interference?
Right. But he wasn't.
Yeah.
Like, what they're ruling is that he was over that yellow line.
Yeah, he's allowed to make a play on the ball.
if he climbs, like if he does that ridiculous thing that we saw like Griffey do when he like puts the cleat in the wall and like climbs it like a whatever, right? If he reaches over 2 rows back and hits me as a fan, that's not fan interference.
No, that's not fan interference in that case.
Right.
No,
But
if it's
if I'm in the front row and I'm like
Right.
here on the yellow line and my face is here and he comes and hits my face, that's fan interference. I'm
Yeah,
leaning into the field of play.
Right. So my question is, if Dylan Moore's glove passes the threshold and makes contact with the fan, is that fan interference?
if he's reaching back over the wall, then no, it's not fan
I think it
interference if he's
depends
back
on
over
what,
the wall.
I think it depends on where the fan is. I think the
Right.
reason why they ruled it that way is they ruled that the fan was either over the yellow line or in front of that yellow line.
Right. Until the ball actually leaves the field of play, it's actually cleared the wall. It's the fielder's ball. And if you look at the replay, the outfielder's going straight up. His glove does not appear to have crossed the wall yet when he's making contact. So it's one of those, like, they're right at the point of intersection of the field of play and the seats, and they've got to decide, would he have made the play or not?
See, the reason I feel like the fan wasn't interfering is if you look at the way the fan's falling, he's falling to the right. And if you're falling to the right, you're not reaching over the fence. Like if you play that video out, he actually falls to the right-hand side. That's just from my view.
Yeah.
But
I hear you.
Right.
I think another thing they need to do is put cameras on the tops of these walls here. Like and like I know it's curved and it's probably sort of impossible, but you could put a camera right down the line there to see if the fan's reaching over or not.
They
Like
could.
it's
Do
just
you know what
another.
else? Do you know what else they need to do before they even do that? Honestly, they need to add a little caveat into the rule. Simply saying, hold on one second. Yeah, no goal. Good save. What they need to do is add a little caveat into that rule and say, if we can't determine, then the call on the field stands. In other words,
Right.
we couldn't tell, so he's staying at second base. I
Right.
understand that it's not a ground rule double and this and that, but we let it play out, right? The fielder had an opportunity to field the ball, throw him in. If he decided to go to third, he could have got thrown out. It was a complete live ball. We're not sure one way or the other, so we're going to put him at second base, and that's the decision.
Yeah.
Because if that was allowed and that's what happened, I don't really think we would be spending all this time on it. I think they'd be like,
absolutely
that
not.
was a close play. It was inconclusive one way or the other. And I
Right.
think they made the right call.
So
I think the fact that they were forced into a decision, and I don't even know if they were 100% convinced, but they
Probably
were
not.
forced into making a decision.
What's
And I think
crazy?
that's the tough part.
What's crazy about this is if they would have called it a home run, I'd probably still be talking about it. Like I would probably
sure.
go in the other way. Oh, it was fan interference. Like it was so close that it is hard. Like
so a great example to this one, Nick, is you go back to the Astros and Red Sox in the ALCS in Houston. Mookie Betts goes up into the seats. The ball's going to hit the guys in the first row in the chest. It's probably a good 4 feet over the wall. Mookie Betts leaps. He would have made the catch. The fans who are just trying to catch the ball, it's about to hit them, have their hands out, hit his glove. They take Altuve's home run away, call it fan interference. Clearly a home run, but because Mookie Betts was going up and was in the process of trying to make the catch, although it's in the fan's lap, it's still fan interference because he has the right to make a play on that ball.
then
and
move
that's
the
where
seats back. Move the seats back.
Well, but that's where fan interference gets muddy. It's like you go to a place like Houston where the fans are sitting on the wall. They can't even put their hands out to protect themselves, and it's fan interference. This guy in Colorado was in a walkway. There's not even seats there.
Oh, he was reaching for the ball. Let's make no
Right.
mistake.
Oh, no, he was
reaching
100% reaching for the ball.
1,000%.
100%. And these guys in Houston, their hands don't even cross the wall, and it's fan interference because they're just trying to catch the ball. It's about to land in their lap. So, and I put the video in the chat if people want to go look at it. But fan interference is hard because the player is allowed to make a play on the ball. Until it leaves the field of play, it's their ball. The problem is, in some cases, the fans are so close to that line of the field of play, you can't tell where the hell it starts and ends.
Yeah.
And that one, it is a very tough judgment call. But I agree with Sean. If you can't decide, it's either fan interference or it's what it was. You can't like create another option where something else completely happens.
Yeah. And
it's a hard one. I get it, but it's never black and white.
I totally understand the rule. If the ball's live and it's a non-home run call, like I would say just put him at second base, like where the play stood. But to call him out also is kind of like you can't assume he's going to make that play.
Right. You're assuming he's going to
like,
make a great catch.
Yeah. It's not like it's a routine play where he's camped underneath
No.
it and the fan's like, oh, thank you very much. Like,
I mean, he's jumping up against the wall to make that catch.
yeah. So
It's not a slam dunk. He's going to make that catch.
Yeah. I don't know. It was interesting.
But fan interference is a crapshoot. It's a crapshoot, and I wish there were an easier way to actually determine it. But
yeah,
these guys. I mean, in the playoffs, it's one thing. At least you got umpires down the line to get a better view. But in the regular season, trying to look out to right field and judge that from a couple 100 feet away, that's not an easy task.
Yeah, no, I get it. All right, we're gonna move to. It was probably my
Morgan. I like that. Every field should have that basket that Wrigley has and take that issue right away. If it falls in that thing, it's gone.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea, honestly.
And Craig's right. We used to see a decent amount of fan interference at Fenway down the line. We haven't seen a lot of it lately, but I remember many years guys reaching around the pole or reaching out to grab it.
Well, that's because at Fenway they take you out back and shoot you now. So
well, yeah, there's like zero tolerance at Fenway.
Lifetime ban.
I mean, in all honesty, though, with Fenway, though, like most of the balls that we see that go down that right field line are either hit so hard that they get out before the right fielder has a chance to get down there, or they're hit so high and so far that interference doesn't really matter because the wall is so low.
302.
Like it doesn't really, like where you see it happen more often than not at Fenway, especially down right field, is on like ground rule doubles, where it's like these idiots are like leaning like it's about to go into the corner and these morons like reaching over to touching it. You know what I mean? Like you don't really see it on fly balls as much just because it's such a long run from like a traditional right field position to get to that.
It's a good haul.
Like that's a haul.
Yeah. It's, unless you're shading that way, there's no shot you're getting to the corner.
That's hard.